Charlie Kao here with TravelMole in France, with Gaurav Bhatnagar with TBO.com, TBOHolidayscom in India. How are you?
Good, Charlie. How are you?
Very good. How long have you been in lockdown?
Oh, a long time. I think I'm hitting my 7th week or probably 8th week in the lockdown now.
Well, eighth, yeah. Wow, I didn't realize it started so early. You're in India.
I'm in India. And also it started early and it's been a very, very severe lockdown. I mean, it's a true lockdown. So haven't been able to really step out of my out of my community at all. It's just at best you can go down and take a walk in the park, but that's pretty much it.
Oh, at least you could do that. That's good. That's good.
Small mercies.
I presume business is like close to zero.
Yes, in fact, Charlie, it is close to zero, and that's the good news because last 2 months it has been negative with all the cancellation and refunds coming in, right? So obviously March and April have been very tough for the entire travel industry, and we are pretty much in the same boat. Only now we are starting to get close to zero, and in fact, some little bit of business coming out of China, a little bit of few bill bookings here and there in rest of the world.
And how are you keeping in touch with your clients, and what kind of conversations and theories are floating around as far as when things will resume, how they'll resume, from which markets?
So Charlie, I think people, we are all optimistic, but nobody knows, right? So every day, the whole day goes in, receiving news, whether it's on WhatsApp or emails or webinars where people are sharing what's happening in their own regions. In fact, we run a website where we track a lot of this stuff. It's called stronger.together.tboacademy.com. So we maintain kind of industry updates, updates from tourism boards over there. But the reality is that nobody really knows exactly when normalcy is going to return. We do know that later this month and early next month, some of the European carriers, some of the American carriers, some of the Middle East carriers will start operations. In India, we are expecting an announcement in the next few days. So this lockdown is supposed to get over on 17th of May. And we're expecting that maybe some domestic flights will start operating from 17th of May, but it's going to be very, very small to begin with. And if the numbers don't shoot up, if things remain all right, then maybe June, India domestic might start to revive.
Now, what will start first whenever it returns? I mean, you offer flights, packages, sightseeing, transfers, pretty much all the components here, cruises, etc.
Well, Charlie, I think for sure domestic flights anywhere in the world is the very first segment that begins, which is very natural as well. A lot of people are just stuck, not in their hometowns, and need to get back, plus some urgent business needs to start happening. So my guess is that domestic flights in various markets will start to come up first. In China, we're also seeing very, very last minute, small, I think these are corporate travel hotel bookings as well, where people literally book in the morning for a check-in later in the afternoon for one night. These are small bookings, but happening for sure, right, in fair numbers now. So I think that will be the trend to begin with. I mean, there is travel which needs to happen, right? People have like serious requirement to travel and they're just waiting for a lockdown to open. I think that's first business that we'll start to see. So short haul, domestic, overnight stays is I think what we start with. Followed by that, I'm hoping that the regional travel picks up. We've been reading about this travel bubble that Australia and New Zealand are talking about. I mean, though that's an interesting idea. And, I see many such regions, right? GCC could be one region between, say, Saudi, Kuwait, UAE, Oman. It is quite potentially, they could create a bubble like that. Southeast Asia in a fair bit could do something like that. So I guess that's the region.
What's a bubble?
So I think the idea is, two countries decide that, you've controlled the virus and I've controlled the virus and we're right next to each other. So let's just kind of create a safe travel passage between these two countries. Because one big challenge with opening up is, you are just not sure who is going to come to the country and bring the virus back. So if there are countries which are kind of adjacent, neighboring, and they both feel that we have, fairly contained the virus, so they create this like a travel passage, right? They say, okay, nobody else can come, but all right, Kiwis can come to Australia and vice versa. So I think that is a good model to start with, because it kicks off some business to happen without the added risk that comes with having foreigners come to your country. Australia and New Zealand have been talking about it, but if that works out, I totally see that happening in many other parts of the world. I think the EU has been also talking about that. Listen, you can probably travel within the EU zone over the summer, but don't expect to be able to go overseas or people from outside the EU zone to come into the EU zone.
Right, right. Let's back up a moment. Pre-COVID, how vast was your operation? How many people were you handling? What was your turnover? Things like that.
Okay. So, Charlie, those were the good days. You made me nostalgic now.
Well, you deserve it.
We had, our financial year ends on 31st March. So we were having the best year of our, of really ever as a company. We were going to touch almost $2 billion in sales. Best year in terms of revenue, profitability, business growth. I think as a company, we had grown almost 57% over the previous year. So it was a massive growth. So that was the scale of the business, about $2 billion in sales annually. We are about 1,200 people. We do business in more than 100 countries. That's pretty much, that was kind of the scale of operations.
Impressive. And you're one of probably the only wholesale company of your nature that is a member of WTTC, World Travel Tourism Council.
That's correct.
Have you been getting some feedback and ideas from those members that maybe you've gotten to know, and our friends or clients?
WTTC has been very active during this crisis, and I have to commend that they've played a very constructive role in revival. There are tasks committees that have also been created for safer travel when travel comes back, for engaging with the different various governments to make sure that travel can come back, to protect jobs all over the world. Even petitions have been done to various governments to kind of bring in regulation which allows travel agents to not do cash refunds but do travel vouchers, just like Brazil did, and that was a great idea. So WTTC has been very active. There is a weekly call where an overall update happens. WTTC remains fairly positive that travel will come back soon. There are active discussions happening on how to make travel as seamless as possible given the circumstances. There is a fair bit of engagement with various tourism boards as well. So, the WTTC view is still positive. I mean, yes, it's a unprecedented crisis, but overall, I think the members feel that we will come out of it on the other side. And once we are out on the other side, there will be new opportunities.
So going back, talking about when business comes back, and you were talking about the bubble, kind of a safe region of travel cooperation amongst countries. Flights coming back first, stay over holidays, so basically hotel bookings. North America, is that one of your markets of any size?
It is not a largest market, but yes, it is a market for us.
And how do you see that coming back?
My feeling is North America is going to come back faster than other markets, even though they have the maximum number of cases, but they haven't seen the kind of lockdowns that rest of the world has. Already flights, I was reading somewhere, flights between say Florida and Brazil are starting again. I think their international carriers are starting their resuming operations also. It is the largest, one of the largest travel markets in the world, and I think North America will come back sooner than many other markets.
And you said previously you see UK, EU, maybe not as quickly. They have a lot of issues to deal with, regulations of who can come in to their region. So the comeback, as you've indicated, throughout the world will be more local travel.
For sure.
And within these bubble zones. So for US, you think will come back a bit sooner than other markets. That will mean travel within the US and between the states in the US, which is not likely to be restricted. So you have opportunities for helping travel agents book air, hotel, everything, sightseeing, transfers, etc. But a lot of people, so some people think, will want to maintain the distancing and visit not the urban areas. They're not going to run out to Disneyland, places like that, anywhere busy. Do you see that?
For sure, Charlie. I think that's very natural, and also given the the economic cost of this crisis, it is going to be. I mean, it's going to be rich people who travel first, right? Because travel is going to be expensive, whichever way you look at it. Whether it is just having to leave the middle seat open in an aeroplane, or just choosing to avoid taking a commercial flight at all. Resorts which have cottages or which have independent villas which are kind of physically segregated. I think those kind of destinations and properties will be more popular. Things like Indian Ocean with Maldives and Mauritius, again, not too many cases over there, and very, very secluded islands. I think those are the destinations which will have a perception of safety for sure. But these are not cheap places to go to, right? These are expensive places to go to. Everything will be more expensive because there is a cost to maintaining social distancing. There is a cost to maintaining the sanitation and health safety standards that need to be maintained in this world. So the good thing from our perspective is that our business really caters to the premium customer. Most of our business is 4-star, deluxe, 5-star and above. And that is where most of the travel agency business also comes today, right? A lot of deal hunting happens online on the OTAs or on meta searches. But then there are people who are well heeled, well traveled. They like somebody to plan their travel for them. So that is really the segment I believe is going to come back first. For sure, they will look for options which keep them as safe as possible. We are exploring all possibilities, right? Even if people want to charter flights, take private charters, that is something that we will enable. We will enable private stays. We will enable new destinations. We are kind of mapping out destinations and hotels and reaching out and asking them, what are you doing in terms of safety? What are your SOPs? So we've been requesting hotels to provide that information to us. So that's really where our efforts are focused right now, just to make sure that we're able to provide as much information as possible to bring the comfort that, travel is safe.
You offer quite a large portfolio of luxury hotels and such?
Oh, yes. Most of what we sell is actually 5-star and above, 5-star deluxe.
Okay. Okay. And for the flights, how much of the offerings are business class, first class, and things like that?
So we offer everything, Charlie. It's a, we aggregate hundreds of carriers worldwide, full service carriers, as well as low cost carriers, regional carriers, international carriers. Everything is on the platform. So we sell pretty much everything. We sell a fair bit of business class and first class as well, but that is more a function of markets, right? Such in certain markets just tend to have more, premium customers compared to other markets. But our product is very comprehensive. In fact, we spent the last few months making it even more, comprehensive. We've added several regional carriers as well, because one challenge that travel agents are facing is just credit, and working with IATA is going to be harder for smaller travel agents. Many have had to kind of redeem their bank guarantees with IATA because of the crisis. So we want to make sure we are there to support them when they come back and they want to issue air tickets.
Now, customized FITs for just a small family, a couple. Do you do that?
Oh yes, so we do it in two ways. We have a dynamic packaging platform which is geared towards customized FIT holidays. It starts with, there are hundreds of ideas to start with over there. Depending on where you are traveling, who is traveling, is it a family traveling, is it a couple traveling? So we start with those ideas, and then you can customize your own holiday. Then we also have an offline desk, which is for more tailored, bespoke luxury holidays. So we have an offline desk, and we're expanding that desk now, where you really want to come in and say that I want kind of VIP service. I want to get, whether I want to travel commercial or private. I want my own private transfers. I want a secluded. I mean, we can even book a whole island for you if you wanted to. So that's another service that we do. It's been a small portion of our business, because really this business used to come in the summers, but we are expanding that now, because we expect a lot of hand-holding will be required going forward, where people will want to talk to us. People will probably want to talk to the hotels they are going to stay in themselves to get the comfort that they will be safe.
Yeah, and really for those who don't know, the cost for an FIT with all or portions of the traveling, of the surface transportation by private car driver, maybe even with a guide for certain portions, is not horrendously more expensive.
It isn't. So, Charlie, I think that's something that people will pleasantly discover when they start, when they leave the online deal hunting and they actually talk to a travel agent. I think that is where a travel agent adds value, because you realize that you can just pay maybe a few $100s more and get treated like royalty.
Yeah,
So it's not that expensive. You just have to know where to buy from.
Well, when a seat and coach half-day sightseeing tour will run you $50 up, and full day almost double that.
Right.
If there's two of you, hey, you have a private car and driver.
Absolutely. And if it is like a family of, family of four, then it's a much cheaper deal actually to have your own private car and a guide with you.
And you can keep your distance all you want.
Absolutely.
Now,
So those are ideas, Charlie. I have to say one thing over here. It is education is a very important aspect. We've spent a lot of effort in building out courses around many of these aspects on TBO Academy. And we are running daily webinars and online courses for travel agents to just gear up for this, because these are the questions they need to answer when people start even considering to travel, right? So it's very important that travel agents understand new destinations to sell, new ways of selling, new thinking around, what used to look very expensive or unaffordable, maybe actually more enjoyable and affordable going forward.
very, very true. There are a lot of hidden gems. And yesterday, I didn't realize, now, if you trust the numbers, that the Philippines, the COVID numbers are so low. I mean, to the point you go. those real numbers. But even if you multiply it times 10, it's still low.
Yep.
And they have a lot of beautiful areas to explore that you can keep the distance. So yes, you're very right. Your partners, TBO's partners on the ground, the companies that provide the cars and drivers and the sightseeing and the transfers, I presume you outsource most of that to local operators.
Yes. Yes.
And you probably deal with the larger ones, because I'm reading or hearing that the small ones, and certainly the mom and pops, half of them are going to go out of business within the next few months if this thing.
Yeah, Charlie, it's such an unfortunate situation right now. I think, people are still hoping that some travel revives in the next few weeks, but if it doesn't revive by fall, for sure, I think we will see a lot of distress in the entire distribution chain, which will be very unfortunate. But as of now, I think people are holding together, just praying and hoping that we can keep our costs to a bare minimum, and some business starts to come, because summer is still, summer is still ahead of us. So if any business starts resumed in the next few weeks, I think we have a hope. But yes, if there is no business at all through the summer and through fall, we will see, a lot of destruction of value happen.
Hey, opportunity for some acquisitions for TBO.
Yes, I think it is going to be a very different world. Once this crisis is over, I think this is a time to kind of just wait, watch, preserve your cash. But in a few weeks or a couple of months, when the things start to get clearer, for sure there are going to be opportunities for acquisitions, for partnerships, and it's going to be important to be very nimble and move fast when these opportunities show up.
And for our viewers, TBOHolidays.com, and purely wholesale through travel agencies. And as Gaurav mentioned, there's a lot of resource and training material on there. How long ago did you and your partner start TBO Holidays?
Charlie, Ankush and I started the business in 2007. January 2007 was the first transaction that happened on our system. So it's been a few years, around 13 plus years now. We started as a airline consolidator back then in India. And then over the years, we expanded the product portfolio. Now we are very full service. We do not just air, but we do hotels, transfers, sightseeing, packages, cruise, religious tourism. We operate in more than 100 countries, more than 70,000 travel agents worldwide, travel agencies worldwide, and more than 100,000 travel agents worldwide use our platform.
And what did you and or your partner do before you started TBO Holidays?
Well, I worked at Microsoft in Redmond in US as a software engineer. My partner's family was in the travel business. So he was third generation into the travel business. So it was a great combination for us to come bring the domain knowledge as well as technology as a skill set and build the business together.
How wonderful. Well, it's great to catch up with you, and best wishes. Of course, stay safe, and best wishes for our industry.
Yes, thank you, Charlie. Fingers crossed. Let's pray for the best, and you also stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.